He wrestled bears as a child and smashed sense into grown men as an adult, retiring with an undefeated MMA record, taking out everyone from tin cans to world-class opponents. In fact, many legendary fighters who have faced Khabib have explained exactly how scary this man really is. Khabib's teammate and close friend Daniel Cormier once said that the Eagle was the strongest person he had ever wrestled with.
The other day we started to grapple and Khabib jumped on top of me and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get up when I want to. But that is not the case. He is literally the strongest person I may have ever felt.
To put things into perspective, Daniel Cormier either faced or trained with Olympians as well as world champion MMA fighters like John Jones, St-Pierre Miocic, Cain Velasquez, and Luke Rockhold during his fighting days. So if he feels Khabib was the strongest person he ever faced, it makes sense when DC says this.
In my opinion, Khabib is the best fighter. As of today, I would call Khabib Nurmagomedov the greatest fighter.
In fact, Cormier ranks Khabib's achievements higher than those of other American Kickboxing Academy champions, including himself, Velasquez, and Rockhold.
Everything that we had done and set, he has shattered him completely and taken this thing to a level that nobody was ever able to reach.
Now, training in a gym and fighting in a cage under bright lights are two completely different things. But when it comes to Khabib, it's all the same, according to Dustin Porier, who thinks as well as being an incredibly strong wrestler, Khabib's knowledge of positioning and control and his technique are out of this world.
None of these guys that I fought feel crazy strong to where it's overwhelming, but it's just his position and his balance was so good. He knew where my weight was, where it needed to be to get in a better position. He's just so advanced. And his feet are like hands, like his foot sweeps and the way he breaks you down, it's good, man. He's good.
The Louisiana native was by far Khabib's toughest opponent when the two battled at UFC 242, where Poirier gave Khabib a couple of scary moments, most notably a guillotine choke that had the Dagestani's fans cover their eyes in horror.
This is like reliving this. What is this like? Like right there,
like I should have punched your arm through.
Right. But still, you still got it locked in, man. You still got,
right here.
Oh my God, he's in deep shit. He is in deep shit here.
Despite being in deep trouble, Khabib twisted, turned, and freed himself before choking Poirier out moments later in front of his father, who made a rare appearance in his corner that night. When asked whether he thought about tapping, this is what Khabib had to say.
I'm like thinking like, Dustin is like crazy guy. He think I'm gonna tap in front of my father.
Unfortunately, Khabib's father died a few months before he fought Justin Gaethje at UFC 254 in Abu Dhabi, and the Eagle was riding an emotional roller coaster heading into a fight without his father and mentor for the very first time in his career. Khabib's ice-cold demeanor during fight week gave Gaethje the chills.
When I fought Tony Ferguson, the morning I woke up, my heart rate was around between 33 and like 36, and the morning I woke up in Abu Dhabi, it was at 68.
Gaethje's heart rate must have been a lot higher when the two battled inside the cage, and Khabib fought at a crazy pace, walking Gaethje down like a demon and putting him fast asleep in the second round.
It was my last fight here. I know only one thing, what I want from UFC Tuesday. You guys have to put me on #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world because I deserve this.
Now, as you guys can see, Conor McGregor was absolutely gutted after Khabib announced his retirement because it closed the door on a possible rematch. The two blood rivals literally hate each other, and before their fight at UFC 229 in 2018, McGregor went as far as saying this.
There will never be peace here. I always say you should aim for peace. But if you can't aim for peace, aim between the eyes. And that's it. I'm gonna aim right between that man's eyes, and this is never over.
McGregor was right, since there is still bad blood between the two, especially after Khabib won their battle fairly comfortably at UFC 229, and McGregor campaigned for a rematch for nearly 2 years, but to no avail. However, after Khabib announced his retirement at UFC 254, McGregor shocked the world by praising his foe. McGregor said, and I quote, "Good performance, Khabib. I will carry on. Respect and condolences on your father again. To you and your family. Yours sincerely, the McGregors." When asked by a fan to rate Khabib as a fighter, here's what McGregor said. "Khabib is a phenomenal grappler and fighter, the current best in the sport with it. I have the answer, however, and they know it." McGregor's tweets were a rare moment of sportsmanship between the two. However, as you can see, McGregor still believes he has what it takes to defeat Khabib. But that doesn't change the fact that retiring at 29-0 wasn't Khabib's initial plan, because his father wanted him to get to 30-0. Even though Khabib's retirement closed the door on a potential fight, GSP couldn't be happier that the Russian finished with his career on top.
It was just an incredible journey, and a lot of fighter in our sport has a tendency to finish too late their career, so they're stuck going down. Khabib has a choice now. He's the perfect role model.
Not only does St-Pierre consider Khabib a perfect role model for budding MMA fighters, but he also considers him the greatest fighter of all time, because in a sport as unpredictable as MMA, Khabib made fist fighting look like a glide through the heavens.
He had a perfect career. Perfect. I mean, he's on the top. You know what I mean? The way I see it, when you say the greatest of all time, you have to wait until his career is over. It's sad to say, but a lot of fighters, I feel like they tainted their legacy a little bit because they hang there too long. For me, the greatest of all time is someone who left behind a great legacy.
Now, going back to Daniel Cormier, he isn't Khabib's only ACA teammate who sings his praises on the mats with Khabib and got humbled several times, despite being twice as big. But as they say, it's not the size of the dog that wins in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog that wins. And if the dog is from Dagestan, well then, good luck.
The problem is that these guys at lightweight, they just don't know what it's like when Khabib gets a hold of them. Most top talents I've seen at lightweight and welterweight, and I've grappled with them, and Khabib he's more than anything than any lightweight has ever really felt, and most all welterweights.
He has insane strength, which is hardly surprising because, according to a study, an eagle's gripping strength is about 10 times that of an adult human hand. Still wonder why Khabib's so good? Well then let's hear what Velasquez has to say.
I guess number one, it's the Dagestan physical strength that they bring in. It's on a different level, man. I wrestled even with some of their guys that come in, even some of their coaches, and they're a little undersized, but it's like the strength that they have it's something different. The strength that they have, they wrestle all the time, and that's something that you really can't implement. You really can't duplicate that anywhere else.
If you don't want to take Rockhold or Velasquez's word for it, since they are Khabib's teammates, how about someone who has nothing to do with the Eagle? UFC and BJJ legend Demian Maia is also of the opinion that Khabib is the greatest of all time, and he thinks so because his coach told him wonderful things about the Dagestani.
Khabib for me is the best of all time. He's great, and I remember something that is stuck in my head. One of my coaches, Leonardo Vieira, who also was one of my professors, Leo told me, man, this kid is great. He will be champion one day. And I said, did you train with him? He said, yeah, I trained with him. He's great. I said, but a great wrestler? He said, no, not just great wrestler. He's great in jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah.
And I said, man, if Leo is saying that, it's because this kid is really good. And that's, I think in 2012.
Like Demian Maia says, Khabib was truly a generational talent. Seeing someone dominate and retire undefeated is truly a rarity, which makes the hardcore fans extremely happy. When I say hardcore fans, I mean guys like Joe Rogan.
I just love the fact that a guy escaped with 29-0.
Yeah.
It's a pretty impressive record, and fought everybody. Mauled everybody, got to the top, fought the best guys, fought Justin, silenced Conor, just did the thing, got out.
Yeah.
And it's obviously a great man, on top of being a great fighter. He's a great man. And it's so unusual the way he lives,
It's truly a mountain to climb for anyone hoping to reach the same heights as Khabib, because
these guys not on my level,
Yeah. So where do you guys rank Khabib Nurmagomedov among the GOATs of mixed martial arts? If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and check out another one here.